today we're going to talk about poverty.
People don't really want to face up to the fact that there is severe poverty in that area. People find it embarrassing.
My brother can't tell anybody that my mum's unemployed. He's physically scared to tell anybody in case he judge him.
The whole project is going to be on poverty in Govan.
You don't see like beggars in Govan. You won't see them sitting on the street as in like, everywhere to city centre.
People are ashamed to go and get food out of a food bank because they're like, oh, well, they judge me.
Sanctions, like people's money gets stopped if they don't look for a job or find a job or anything. There might be reasons why they can't find a job.
Oxfam in Scotland and NHS Glasgow. I want to find out how poverty impacts young people in Govan.
Cut benefits, addictions, being kicked out.
If you become unemployed and then end up like becoming in poverty, then you don't you can't maybe afford the stuff that you need to try and get back into employment.
If you want to know how things are impacting young people, why not ask young people themselves?
Maybe you're not in poverty personally, but you've got friends who are in poverty.
Young people's voices are important.
I'll tell anybody that sees I walk by and say, oh hi, my mum's unemployed. I'm literally that open.
You could be going to school one day and you could see someone and you might not know it, but they're actually like in poverty and they have battles going on like behind closed doors and stuff.
It's affected me because I can see that my mum's miserable because she can't treat herself, and yet the government doesn't care for us. Like they're just like, oh, I'm rich, I get to do whatever I want. No, that's not happening. Do something about it. Like, I got really angry now.
Decided that lack of food in a lot of areas is one of the main issues with poverty. So we went to the Crookston Community Group Food Bank and spoke to people there. So why is it that you're coming to the food bank?
It's because I'm short of money this week. I come every Monday. I don't get paid till Thursday, so it helps out until Thursday.
So why is it you come to the bank?
Because I got married there, and if we get married, our money got cut. So, like that. I've got a vein in the house and all that, and on. If I didn't come here, I don't know what. Probably need to get turned to crime, basically, do you know what I mean? Nobody else is wanting to help you.
You have to be doing a food bank to actually know what goes on. I mean, we've had a mother of 3 where she was made redundant. Her daughter was sick, so she was late going to the job centre and she got sanctioned. Now, because of that, she was given £35 a week to live on. And she has to pay the rent because the housing benefit stopped, council tax is stopped. So with £35, she's got 3 children to feed, pay the rent, pay the bills, and put food on the table and clothe them. And that's for 11 weeks. She came down absolutely in tears. I had no choice to ask us for food.
You're struggling every day, you know, basically. Look, that's it. It's heat or eat sort of thing.
Right, thank you.
Thank you.
The thing is, it's not just homeless people. It's people who are working as well, who are on low pay.
Low wages and 0 contract hours, that's just, it's beyond belief. If you're on 0 contract hours and you haven't had any days at work for 4 days or 5 days, it's not like you could go to the job centre and claim some of the benefit. You've basically got nothing for that week. So what are you supposed to do?
What kind of ages and types of people come?
We've got people young mothers with 2 children, no food, been sanctioned. Some people that have just literally come out of prison, they've got no money, no food. We've got people who have been made redundant.
I'm here because I've been suspended for the social, so and it's I've tapped all the money I can tap half the people, you know, and I've got a wife and a kid, so this is the only place I can go, you know. And it's all this holding back money so they can get their nuclear weapons in it. So that's it. What's that going to cost? £100 billion? And you get people standing outside here looking for a can of beans.
Thank you.
People think it's this brilliant thing that people are supporting other people, but there shouldn't be a need for them. We went along to speak to Mr Anderson, the head teacher of Bellahouston Academy, about the impact of poverty on pupils and their families.
In what ways does poverty affect pupils attending this school?
Part of the problem around the whole issue of poverty is that often it goes unseen in school because there's quite a lot of concealment of it. But where we do pick it up, it might be in areas such as breakfast clubs, where we'll see an increased attendance by young people who are maybe not able to afford breakfast and who take the advantage of a free breakfast in school.
Would you say that pupils are dealing with different stresses now due to poverty and the impact of austerity?
It's easy to forget that, and you used the exact word there, that stress can lie at the heart of a family's financial difficulties, and it's a health issue. A family which is struggling financially is a family which is struggling sometimes emotionally as well, and that includes even parents who may be in work. So we're talking about the poor in work as a new phenomenon for us as well.
Would you say that there's a rise in mental health issues among teenagers now?
Yes, I'm in no doubt about that, and sometimes quite serious mental health issues.
If you've got financial problems as well as your school situation and everything, you're stressing about your school, but then your parents' financial situation or your housing situation or whatever is under threat, then obviously that's another thing to worry about, and it's just a pile that just builds up, and that can affect your schoolwork and everything.
And then it makes them angry, and then it makes them be bad to other pupils and then be angry with teachers.
What are the biggest challenges of budget cuts in the school?
The local authority and the education department of our local authority have been very keen to protect what they call core services. That means teachers, resources and materials. There's no doubt that things are as challenging as they have ever been, and the indications are that it's only going to get even more challenging in the next couple of years.
Schools always say they don't have enough money for things, but I didn't know that they got so little and that there were so many cuts to the schools. It was weird though, because my head teacher that interviewing. Poverty has personally affected me. I've seen it overshadow the possibilities of the young and who or what they could grow and aspire to be, bound by political handcuffs, police cuffing the innocent, blinded by perception. The misunderstood generation, children being trapped in a life routine of getting an education, to get qualifications, to get a 9 to 5, to get money to add to the population for nothing but repetition for the next generation. Kids are sitting in class with mental health, buckling under the pressure of work teachers put upon them, not knowing we're losing too many young lives. Suicide is rife. We were too young to die, but too drained to live. But the pain will always be in the eyes of those who thrive to survive.
Quite honest.
We needed some answers, so we decided to visit the Scottish Parliament to interview Hamza Yusuf, one of the local MSPs.
All of you are from Govan?
Yes.
Just Plantation Productions.
How you doing?
Right, you'd think your MP would be able to get you a seat.
This interview is about poverty in Govan and young people.
Poverty is a challenge because a young person growing up in Govan at the moment doesn't have the same chances in life as somebody growing up in Newton Mearns or Bearsden, and that's unfair. That's nothing to do with the young person. It's not their fault. There's a big priority for us as a government to change that from the moment a young person is born. In fact, even before they're born, how do you ensure that they get the equal opportunity in life that anybody else would get, regardless of what their postcode is?
Would you agree that poverty is related to mental health, and if so, what policies are the government making to support vulnerable and disadvantaged communities?
I think poverty is related to mental health, and often mental health can be exacerbated and made worse by poverty. We have a mental health strategy that's very comprehensive. It doesn't just tackle mental health in isolation. It talks about mental health in employment, and mental health in education, and mental health in communities.
Studies show that a third of the communities with the highest rate of crime were in the top 20 areas of highest levels of chronic health problems. What are your plans to combat this?
Look, in Scotland we've had too much of a gap between areas that have multiple deprivation and areas that are more affluent. And our job in government, Nicola Sturgeon, as First Minister, has said that her priority is reducing that gap.
In what way are you helping young people from disadvantaged areas attain their dreams and have a higher education, apprenticeships and strong skills base so we can have a decent standard of living?
We've put more than 100 million into something called the Attainment Fund. The Attainment Fund goes into some of the schools that are in the most disadvantaged areas right up and down Scotland. And what it does from a primary school age is helps to give more one-to-one, more support to those disadvantaged schools in disadvantaged areas.
What has been done to combat sanctions and benefit reductions? Because, I mean, my mum is unemployed and her benefits are getting reduced, and she's got 3 children, one's just a newborn. Like, I work and I have to give, like, my work money to my mum because she can't afford to get us, like, food for, like, the next day and stuff.
I take my hat off to your mum and to you. The Scottish Government is completely opposed to the cuts that have happened to welfare.
We get minimum wage when we work, but when, like for buses, when we have to pay an adult fare, but we don't get an adult pay. So how is that?
Oh, interesting. So when you take public transport, you mean buses or
yeah, like buses, subway, stuff like that, to pay an adult fare.
Yeah, I never thought about that actually. It's a really good question. Something that's worth taking up with the bus companies. It's a fair point. Nobody's ever raised it to me before. Why do we get a minimum wage that's lower but have to get treated as adults and pay? I think it's a good point to raise.
I thought that he was like really good at like opening up, and like he didn't like have to like get him to elaborate on his questions.
He didn't feel like he thought as if he was above you. He just felt like equals. I thought that was good.
I just find politics in the Parliament interesting. Something I would like to.
I got better answers on all of them. I thought.
No, actually, because he wants me to help him with Eddie and the girls' buses, so I done good. I get help him.
That's because only you lost your bus pass.
Poverty is connected to crime, and sometimes we don't feel safe in our community. We're heading off to speak to Inspector Haynes and try not to get ourselves locked up.
I don't think many people feel proud to be from Govan, because in like school, if someone says, "Oh, where are you from?" like Govan, they're like, "Oh my God, no, don't stab me," stuff like that. That's the like respect and stuff that you get. It's little. Would you say that the role of police in Govan has been affected by the impact of austerity?
Austerity does have an effect on policing and the people that we are trying to work with here. And you may think that austerity, the first thing it impacts on is maybe dishonesty crimes. But in reality, when austerity affects the population, it affects how they deal with crisis in their lives and the threats that are to their lives. So if they're worrying about how to heat their home, how to feed their family, is it a choice between the two? Anything else that's a stressor to them can seem so much worse, and their reaction to that can be so much worse. The longer that austerity goes on, the more it concerns me that we will see people who are at the end of their tether, they've tried everything else, they've been to all the support agencies, they're in what we call the cycle of despair. And when you get into that cycle of despair, it's like a trap.
Are the police aware that there are shops selling, well, a particular shop, selling joints for £2 to 10-year-olds underneath my house, and I get the smell, and I've even called Crime Stoppers and there's nothing happened.
We get a lot of community intelligence about people supplying drugs, be it from shops or from their houses or from particular street corners. And you won't see an awful lot of activity, because what happens then is we try and build that intelligence up to a place where we can go to the sheriff, but that takes a lot of time.
Police officers are trained in a lot of stuff, but are they trained a lot on dealing with mental health cases of people that are reported about them?
We certainly get our fair share of people who appear to be in some kind of mental health crisis, and I worry that people with mental health conditions who should be in hospital are coming back out into the community, not because that helps to rehabilitate them and to help improve their condition and they're dealing with the condition, but because the money's not there to give them the support that they need.
Approximately how many hours does a police officer get trained to deal with mental health?
Once a year we revisit our officer safety training, which is the baton and handcuffs, CS spray or PAVA, and as part of that day we also include how to support people with mental health issues.
I'm going going to meet Chloe, a care leaver who's going with a group from Who Cares Scotland to Hustings at Strathclyde Uni to find out what matters most to her in these difficult times.
I'm 18 and I used to be in care, but now I'm with Through Care at the moment, and I go to college as well.
First of all, for the first of two paired questions.
I'm going to Hustings at Strathclyde University to find out what the government can do for people like me, because sometimes people only have here, they might not have family or friends, they might just have places like this, so that's really important to me that places like this stay as they are.
Because all of us have periods in life when we need a bit of support from them.
I just think through maybe the stigma of being in care, people don't want to listen to us because they think that we're all just in care because maybe we've committed a crime or we're not good enough. We want to be accepted as much as anyone else, I think.
If your party is elected, what would you do to help people with mental health into education or work?
I think first of all we need to bring parity of esteem to mental health.
A lot of people in care go through mental health issues and they don't get as much help as they should, and I think that's really terrible because I've gone through mental health issues myself, and just to know that there's funding going for support for us would be so much better.
Mental health is every bit as important as physical health and treat it that way in the National Health Service.
And I think accommodation is really important as well, because I know people who have took a place that is really bad just to get a place of their own, and that's all that the funding can give them.
We want to have earlier intervention to stop some of these problems.
What party leader do you think stood out the most?
For me personally, I think it was Nicola Sturgeon, because she really sold herself to me, I think, and her answers were what I was kind of wanting to hear.
We went to the community-based organisation GalGale, which supports people in workshops that rebuild both boats and lives in a practical way.
We've got a community here and we like to give opportunities to a lot of people. There's some drink influences and drug influences, unemployment, homelessness.
I've been here coming up for 3 years now. I'm been long-term unemployed. It's given me a purpose again, getting up in the morning, coming out and doing something that's kind of valued, and it's given me a wee bit of self-respect again.
Have you been affected by the government's austerity programme?
Yes, 6 weeks before Christmas they sanctioned me because I wasn't doing enough job searching through the computer, and I found it quite hard and very stressful.
Could you tell me a little about yourself and why you started coming to GalGale?